Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back in the video. With this video, I'm going to bring you guys my top 5 light decks for the Dark versus Light event in Master Duel. So the first one that I wanted to show you guys is Galaxy Eyes. So this is a very powerful OTK deck. If you want a deck that just kind of finishes games quickly, this could be a good deck to go into. If you also like going into rank 8 exceeds, then it's perfect as well. You can also get something out like Cyber Dragon Infinity as an Omni Negate, which is really fun if you can, and it's just a bunch of different rank 8s that you can go into, and ones that build up on top of that. So you can just stack up your Galaxy Eyes monsters with a bunch of material, and a lot of them are focused on just OTKing your opponent or even like taking your opponent's monster. That could be pretty annoying if your opponent doesn't know how to deal with it. And a lot of people haven't gotten a lot of experience with Galaxy Eyes, so you can get some sneaky wins using this deck. And the hand trap that we're able to utilize here that you're going to see in a few decks is something like Effect Veiler, Nibiru, and Imperm. You can see that it's not really hit by the ban list, so you can run these at max copies if you want. You can also try adding 3 Dark Ruler no mores if you want to focus on going second more, maybe clearing out the board afterwards. Doing that, you just won't be able to OTK, but you can use cards that clear the board as well if that's what you decide to do. But yeah, this was the first deck that I want to show you guys. Alright guys, so the second deck that I want to show you is Drytron. So Drytron hasn't really gotten any attention since like the first few months of Master Duel. It's kind of fallen off a bit, but I think this is a good chance for you to go back into it, as most of its monsters are light monsters anyway, so it's not really hurt too much by this ban list or by this restriction that's built in with the event. Of course, you can see that I'm running 3 copies of Veiler, Nibiru, 2 copies of Imperm. You can choose the ratios of those hand traps for anything. You can see we only have 1 copy of Eva, but we're still able to utilize it pretty effectively, besides having it at 1 copy. Of course, Ben 10 here being at 1 copy sucks, but there is ways to recycle it, so it's not too bad as long as you're able to do that. 3 copies of Diviner of the Herald. This card, when it's normal or special summon, lets you send the fairy monster from your deck or extra to the grave. So the good thing about that is you can do something like popping a card using Elder Entity Nest. And it's also a level modulator, so you can synchro summon into different monsters depending on what you have on the board. You can choose based on that. And Herald of the Arclight, this card's still amazing, being able to utilize it as like an Omni Negate, while also being a form of a Dimension Fissure. Could be pretty annoying for your opponent to deal with. Herald of Perfection, still an annoying, powerful card. Herald of Ultimateness, these cards are going to be frightening to go against here. And yeah, it's just going to be very difficult for your opponent to have to deal with cards like this. But yeah, if you guys want a strong ritual deck that pretty much utilizes all light monsters anyways, then check out this deck. But let's go to the next one. Okay guys, so a deck that I'm sure a lot of you already have is Exo Sister. This is a very popular deck, because I've seen a lot of people play with it. And yeah, you can play it pretty much at full power. You can see that in my extra deck, I'm kind of like maxing out on the copies, but you can definitely try adding other monsters in the extra deck if you choose to do so. But even like this could work pretty well. It's just a great Exceed deck. If you guys haven't gotten a chance to play it, it's going to be pretty annoying for your opponent to have to deal with. And it's not too difficult to learn as well. I've made a combos video for this deck, and it's not too hard to pick up, so that's what's pretty good about it. I run 3 copies of Evenly Match in case you want ways to clear the board. Same thing with the 2 Lightning Storms. You have easy ways to do that, although you only have one copy of Exo Sister packs, which does suck because this card can essentially let you special summon out any of your Exo Sister monsters or search them out at the very least. Having it at 1 copy, we can manage with it. It's still a very powerful deck. Everything in the extra deck and in the main deck besides this card is pretty good right now. It hasn't gotten hit by anything, so you can just pretty much play it at full power, besides the outside of light monsters that you would typically want to consider running. But it's definitely still a powerful deck for you guys to consider. Okay guys, so the next deck that I have for you is ABC. So if you guys haven't played with this deck, it's a really fun deck. If you haven't really gotten a chance to play with Union monsters, this is the best one that you can play with. It's fun just playing it on its own, but playing it in this meta means that it's actually made pretty solid. It wasn't hit too much by anything. A lot of the deck runs light monsters anyways, so you can see that it's not too big of a problem. We have 3 copies of Union Hanger as well, so you can just quickly go into combo. We have cards like Union Driver as well, that's just able to essentially turn into whatever monster you need, depending on what you need it for. And yeah, you can see we have 3 copies of Buster, so being able to banish a card in the field, recycle materials, very easy to do. Nova, Infinity, of course, if you want a Omni Negate built into the deck. And of course, that means you can go into Zeus as well. We have the Platinum gadget here because we do run some of the gadgets here, which just works perfectly for the deck. And the only real spots that we changed here were just to add like the Lina, the Mech Knight Crusader Avermax, the underworld goddess of the closed world. It's definitely a good light deck to consider. Definitely one of my favorites. Alright guys, so the final deck that I have for you is Eldlich. So if you guys haven't played Master Duel since the beginning, then you might not know that this card was super relevant in the beginning of Master Duel, and even like trickled in here and there. This card just kind of always had an annoying presence on the meta. And if you like the idea of using trap monsters or just using traps in general, this deck is perfect for that. You can also see here that I'm utilizing the hand trap choice of Nibiru and Effect Veiler, just perfect for this. And of course the Imperm, as it is a trap deck. And yeah, you can choose what you want to add with this deck. That's the good thing about it, is that you can play around with the different traps, choose which ones you like and which ones work for you. And the extra deck here is a little bit restricted just because we don't really have the ability to get much out. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea through like Zeus. If you guys are able to choose an Exceed monster that might work for this deck, maybe you want to summon out some monsters and then, you know, use that in order to exceed. Let me know what you guys think about the decks. I hope you guys are successful in this event. Let me know if you guys choose dark or light for this event, or if you guys are just going to switch between the two. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.